The year is 1776, Henrico County, Virginia. On a farm not a farm, a plantation owned by the processor. Young man is born. That young man would grow up and learn the trade of what we know to be his father, we believe to be his father, in the blacksmith. That being said, you know he had the gifts of Obasi. Young Gabriel was popular. He was a man of the cloth. He traveled from farm to farm. He had from plantation to plantation. He had free pass because he was a blacksmith, and the process would rent him out and rent his labor out. Very charismatic was young Gabriel, with a desire to be free. Young Gabriel would organize what is known as one of the Gabriel Prosser Rebellion, one of the most famous rebellions in colonial times. Gabriel would get together through walking and traveling through the different farms. He would meet people. They said that one time Gabriel had as much, I've looked it up, some people say as few as 100 people, some say as many as 2,000 to 5,000 followers. How in the world? In 1776, does a young black, and I'm gonna say evangelist, accumulate and amass a group of people that large to plan a rebellion. He had a 3-stage rebellion. He was gonna come at it from 3 different angles. His goal was to take over the governor's mansion. Now, in the process, young Gabriel, being a blacksmith, because that's what we're talking about, the gifts of Obasi, gave him the gift. Remember, we talked about how the blacksmiths were actually the clergy. Here we see young Gabriel in the cloth, teaching and preaching. How charismatic was this young individual, 24, 25 years old, to get this many people to agree to follow him for their freedom? I could see the fierceness in his voice. I could hear and see the fullness in his face as he spoke to these people and captured their minds and captured their desires to be free. The only thing that happened was, poor Gabe, storm took place. The night they was gonna get together and go, a tremendous storm came through and flooded them out, and they couldn't do what they needed to do that night. And so they tried to re-scramble. Gabriel tried to re-scramble and get the people together and go for the next night. But by that time, a seed of doubt had been planted amongst his followers. And 2 of his followers would go on, who thought they had a good relationship with their master, would go on to tell their master of the plans that Gabriel had. This would result in the governor of Virginia amassing and getting together the militias, and they went after the conspirators, and they went after young Mr. Prosser. Mr. Prosser escaped to the swamp. He was able to get out to the James River, where he got on a ship. He gets on the ship, and the ship gets him all the way to Norfolk, where he is again betrayed by one of the slaves on the ship who knew who he was. The gifts of Obasi shows us the desire of the heart and the ability of the young blacksmith who used his skill to make weapons out of farm tools. They knew how to make guns. They was going to take over one of the armories. This is intelligence, and this is where my pride lies. When I see the gifts of Obasi, when I see the endurance. This is 1776, the man's name, Gabriel Prosser. Check him out for yourself. Blacksmith, preacher, leader, teacher, and guide. You guys been enjoying the story so far. I'm trying to do what Anansi asked me to do and tell this story. I had to stop and get my notes out so I made sure I didn't miss nothing. And one thing that I hope you noticed while I was gone about my story. This is not, I hope, and I'm gonna say this twice. This is not a fairy tale story. Oops, let me say this again. It's not a fairy tale story. I think I started off sounding a little bit like a fairy tale, and I was telling you about the gifts of Obasi to those that was taken. It's a good story if you tell it like a fairy tale, but it wasn't a fairy tale. No, crossing the Atlantic in the Middle Passage, 2 million lives was lost just in the passage. 2 million lives were lost in the passages, and yet the blacksmiths made it through. 12 million in the Middle Passage, 2 million died, and yet enough still made it. Let me give you the colonies at the time: New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. Virginia had some 16,000 slaves. Virginia had more slaves than any other colony. Why? Well, that makes sense because Virginia was the capital. Virginia was where it all started. So there was more slaves and more in Virginia than anywhere else. And we're not talking about some kind of polite institution. We're talking about making it across the Atlantic Ocean where 2 million didn't survive, being sold as skilled labor now. Not to mention, they were freed and free. I say freed with a D, and free blacks also here doing the work of the blacksmith. Again, I tell you, the importance of the blacksmith is that without the blacksmith, nothing would have been built. All the tools, all the weapons of war, all the things for the animals, the wheels, everything was the blacksmith. This was the importance. And this is what gave blacksmiths the leverage and the power to go on and be how they were in their development in this country. So I believe. And so when I give you the list of the colonies, what I want you to understand with this story is that these was happened simultaneously as I'm telling you, and I'm just bringing you examples, and I'm giving you true examples of these blacksmiths and what they did. Remember, I told you the blacksmiths bought their own freedoms, those who weren't already free. The blacksmiths bought their wives and children's freedom. The blacksmiths started shops. The blacksmiths started banks. The blacksmiths started churches. And I'm going to show you that in this story here of Anansi's. And this is, I believe, because of the gifts of Obasi that was given to them before they left Africa. I'm going to say it again. I'll break it down. The gifts of Obasi before they left Africa. All right? So we made it as far as New York. I'm going to flip back in my notes and I'm going to jump on New Jersey. Let's see if we can find blacksmiths in New Jersey. Remember, there are certain periods of time. There is the colonial period, the 1700s. You got the pre-colonial period of the 1600s. Then you have the Civil War era. And then you have what comes after the Civil War era. So these are broken down, and these blacksmiths are going to endure. I'm going to show it and prove it to you as these blacksmiths endure through all of these time frames. All right? Let's talk about New Jersey. It says, as enslaved, African-American blacksmiths were present and contributed skilled labor in New Jersey, practically during the 18th, 19th century, both as enslaved workers and freed craftsmen. Records from estate inventories and advertisements in colonial Williamsburg describe enslaved individuals identified specifically as blacksmiths. Blacksmiths as early as the 1760s. Runaway slave advertising and historical studies further detail that these skilled blacksmiths among them were often highly valued. We're talking about New Jersey. I'm gonna drop down to Pennsylvania, because when I get to Virginia is when I'm really gonna put on the brakes. I'm just coming on down, letting you know that simultaneously, this is all happening. Blacks are being taken from Africa, making it from the Middle Passage to all of these colonies. Freed blacks are doing work and getting paid by who? And this is the part I like to make. If you was a freed black, or if you was a free black and you had your own blacksmith and even you was a slave, you made money. Who was your customers? Let's just think about that. Who was your customers? I tell you, and I say it all the time, we've always had to work together. Say it again. We've always had to work together. There is significant evidence of African-American blacksmiths contributing to Pennsylvania's communities throughout the 19th century and earlier. George Allen, it's like the name, so was a free American blacksmith in Harrisonburg in 1830. Jeremiah Peter Crabb worked as a blacksmith in Grant County during the 19th century. In rural areas, black communities like Sixpenny Creek, established in 1842, Berks County, often lived near charcoal lands feeding blast furnaces. So we got blacksmiths in Pennsylvania holding it down. We're just showing that they was there, that's all. Drop it down to Maryland. We're gonna drop it down to Maryland. Samuel Green in Maryland, a freedman, Samuel Green. He was enslaved in Dorchester County. Dorchester County now is the same area that Harriet Tubman came from. And I've been there many times. They have a fantastic Harriet Tubman museum there for part of the story. He was enslaved in Dorchester County, Maryland, and later worked as a blacksmith. His blacksmithing work helped him earn money to buy his own freedom. Research identifies 16 African-American blacksmiths in northern Frederick County in the 19th century. Moses Jones, also 1787, blacksmith on his own shop. We're in Maryland. And this is just showing you some of the examples of. This is not talking about all of the blacksmiths that was doing that. Why? This is just, my paper's ruffling up. This is the blacksmiths that I'm trying to get through as I get down. So I made it down to Maryland. And here's where we're gonna slow down. Here's where I'm gonna get in. And mind you, during those centuries, we're gonna show you what in pictures and photos and artist renderings of what kind of slave conditions these blacksmiths were working in and working with and working through. We're coming into Virginia, and I'm gonna slow up because there's several forges in Virginia. Meanwhile, you know what I forgot to tell you? There's a friend of mine, I got a couple of friends of mine I picked up along the way. Mr. Nick Echo, he's gonna show us how that, modern day forging is done. How was America built? I want to share with you one way that I know through my research how America was built. I'm here with Mr. Nick Echo. This is his forge and workshop. Forge and workshop. He's a knife maker. He's a blacksmith. And when I first got into blacksmithing, Nick was actually the very first person I met and told me which I was looking for an anvil. Yep. He told me which anvil to buy. But I want to take you through the modern shop, because we're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about the black man and the history of how during slavery, how the Europeans directly targeted blacksmiths out of Africa. They didn't just go randomly. People think they just went randomly picking up people. No, they did not. They needed things over here. They needed blacksmiths. They needed carpenters. So when they went to Africa, that's what they went specifically to get, was blacksmiths, carpenters, and things like that. You can't have it both ways. You can't say we was all slaves and say we didn't do nothing. No, we did it all. We did all the building. We did all the manual labor. And it was our expertise as blacksmiths during a time before the Industrial Revolution, which ushered in the Industrial Revolution, where blacksmiths did their thing. So it's pretty much a dying thing now. There's not a whole lot of smiths out there, but it's coming back. It's coming back. Blacksmiths made everything from nails for you to build with, hinges for doors, gated fences, buggy wheels,
fixed all the
horseshoes
that was used on farms,
made all the tools.
Everything.
And I want to share this with you. All of the slavery shots you see with the people shackled and the things on their head and the things on their neck, that's correct. Black people made those shackles. Black people made those headgears that you see. Black people made those, all right? But we're going to get into how money was made. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in the documentary. But right now, we just want to start you. I want to start you to show you how this is a modern forge right now. And I've seen many forges like this on YouTube, and they look pretty much just like this right here. Some may be bigger, some 2-car garage, some 3-car garage. But Nick's going to take us on a tour of the modern forge. And, if we get lucky, we'll light off, because it's already 90 degrees out here. We're going to just light off the forge so you can see the heat in the forge. The ability to move metal is what forging actually is. The ability to move metal. Is that correct?
Correct.
The
Yes.
ability to move metal. So Nick, start aside. I want to say this. One of the first things, not one of, the first thing I ever made with Nick was a set of tongs. I came up here and Nick said, hey man, you know, you want to make a tool or you want to make a knife? And then he said, do you have any tools? I said, no. He said, well, then you want to make a tool. Okay, cool. So I end up making, do we have some of the handmaids up here?
Yeah, there's a set of hand ones right here.
That's the hand. That's the hand. I thought that's what those were.
Yep.
Yep. So this looks just like my set. This was the set that Nick and I made the first day. Why? Because blacksmiths had to make their own tools.
Correct.
And this is any blacksmith should be able to make these, right?
Correct. Yeah, it should be. It's a fundamental skill to be able to make tools for yourself to be able to complete the job that you're doing. You can't do your job without being able to hold it securely and be able to work on it. So you have to be able to make the tools to be able to get the job done.
All right. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to ask Nick just to give me a tour and give us a tour of the modern now. Mind you, this is the modern. We're going to go back and we're going to show you what they're doing in Africa, because it's even still in Africa now on the West Coast. They use the stones. Have you seen that? They use the stones for hammering because it doesn't suck heat out of the metal.
Well, it's also that, and it's what's readily available. I mean, you use the tools that are available to you.
That's the mind of the blacksmith.
If you don't have a 150-pound anvil, you're going to use a 300-pound stone.
Gotcha.
And you're going to shape it to be able to use it in the way that is more efficient for what you're trying to do.
Oh, cool, cool. All right, well, let's start right here where we're standing at, Nick. We'll start right here. Now, I'm showing y'all this too. This is something Nick made. This is a
little hatchet head.
Little hatchet. I was about to say tomahawk, close. He's just got to put a handle on there. As you can see, that's been forged. And I just want y'all to see that. All right, so let's start with this table right here. Nick, what do we got on this table?
Well, this is a bench setup that has two vices on it. When it comes to blacksmithing, a lot of the work that you want to do every bit of the work that you're going to do involves using a hammer to be able to drive and move the material.
Mm-hmm.
With modern day vices, something similar to this, if you were to put a piece of steel in here and bang on it, all the force and all the impact of the hammer is going to drive down, and it's going to hit on this box and on this screw. And over time, you're going to bend that screw to the point that this vise won't ever be able to open and close again.
So this is called a leg vise, right?
This is called a leg vise.
Okay.
And if you look at the way that it's designed, there's a leg that goes down from the back jaw all the way down to the ground.
I see it.
So I could take a hammer and I could bang on this all day long, and it's just going to transfer all of the impact straight down into the ground.
Got it.
Unlike that one that would eventually break.
So one of the things I like to joke Nick about is, you know, how happy he was, because, you know, he had to build this up from scratch.
Correct. Yeah.
And over the years, and so happy it is, you know, when you buy something new. So how did it feel when you got your first leg vise?
Well, the first leg vise I got was I found it secondhand at a used store, and I paid retail price for it. It was like $300-something bucks.
Okay.
And then as I've been going in the same place that I met you at the scrapyard when you were looking for your anvil, I found most of this stuff there.
Okay.
I pulled this one out of a garbage pile that was going to be set to be recycled. This thing is over 100 years old. The value on it, I can't even place a value on it because it's just so large. Right.
Now, mind you, we're talking about 1700s, 1800s, 1600s. Nobody had nothing like this here going on.
They had things that were similar, but they weren't anywhere near as big because they didn't have the machinery and the tooling to be able to move that much material.
So I see you here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different hammers.
8 different hammers.
I know I've cut with one of the hammers before with you, and knocked off, cut the end off or something with the hammer. That's interesting.
Well, this is not technically a hammer. This is what's called a top tool.
Okay.
And you would use this in conjunction with a hammer. So say you wanted to be able to turn a square bar round, right? So you take your square bar and you put it in. You would take a tooling that looks something similar to this, that has the same similar radius on it, and you would put this into your anvil.
This is called a swage, right?
This is called a swage.
That's a swage block, okay.
You would put your bar into here, and then you would set this on top of it.
And smack it round.
And then you would have your apprentice
Mm-hmm.
hold the bar for you
Okay.
and rotate it as you were working the tool, and it would turn it into a round bar.
I was the apprentice for a while, y'all. I was the dude. I'm still the apprentice, really. I just ain't been doing too much lately with mine.
And there's tons of different sizes for this. I mean, there's larger size ones, smaller size ones. It really all depends on what type of job that you're trying to accomplish and what your end goal is.
All kinds of tongs here. Tongs all over the place.
Tongs all over the
Tongs
place.
all over the place. And I just want to say to y'all, tongs all over the place. Even with these tongs, I do more dropping of stuff. I drop them on my feet. I got hot metal falling on my feet. I started a little blaze in the yard. I have to keep the water hose in the yard because I started a little blaze in the backyard because I'm in there trying to be cool and cheat it, like it's chopsticks. So I'm going in like this, trying to pick some metal up, and now it's hot. I'm dropping it. But a lot of different tongs. This one looks like it'll grip this here looks like it'll grip square.
Well, it'll either grip square or it'll grip round. But you have so many different tongs because there's so many different sizes of material that you're working with. And if you can't securely hold on to your work, it's gonna fly up off the anvil or fly out of the tongs. And when the material is 1700 degrees, the last thing in the world you want is for that to land on you.
Got you.
So it's 100. You have to be able to control the material and hold
it
secure.
You. All right, over here, anvil.
Yep, that is the heart of the blacksmith shop. Between the anvil and the forge, everything else in this shop can go away, and you could still get everything done with the anvil and the forge.
The forge right there. You want to just shoot to the forge right quick. Like I said, we're gonna try to fire it up. We'll stop and start maybe so we don't just go to continuously and then fire that up. But the anvil and the forge is the main thing.
It's the heart of the shop.
The main thing.
Yep.
I remember I went home and I made the knife. I still have the knife with Paneva. I still have that. So my first knife that I tried to just do by myself, I was gonna be cool and I was gonna show my man that I could make a knife at home by myself. So I made the knife, but he didn't tell me that I had to correct for the curvature as it was heating up.
Correct.
So I took a piece of what was that? Rebar, and I was banging out the knife shape nicely, but it kept curling. So now I still own it. It's still curled. It's my first knife, and we call it the knife of Paneva right there, or Pine Avenue. Something that you would not see back in the day.
Not back in the day, no.
Something that you would not see, and
that
I love this
machine
thing.
Right there replaces the work and the sweat equity of about 30 apprentices.
Yeah, and I've seen you deal with this thing here, man. I've seen, man, I'm telling you, I've seen him deal with this thing here. This thing here will take a piece of hot metal and mash it down to nothing.
Yeah, it replaces, like I said, the sweat equity of every single apprentice swinging the biggest hammers.
Right.
It has the same equivalent force power of 28 elephants standing on top of the piece of steel. I can take, like you said, a piece of steel, get it hot, and squish it down.
Squish it all the way down.
Just by pushing down on this handle.
Yeah, this thing here, man, this thing here is a beast. Moving on around real quick, regular grinder, and then that's your 2x72, which is your favorite boy right there.
Yeah, that's what I use to shape everything that I'm doing, all the knives, all the swords that I've ever made.
All that is
have been ground out on this machine.
Right, and there's your sandpaper belts for your 2x72 sander. You ain't got nothing up to sand. But that's the belt that goes on that 2x72 right there.
Yep,
the attachments.
Over the machine, and it will just hog material.
It'll hog your finger off. You hit it wrong. Different attachments for the 2x72, and then I want y'all to see some of the stuff Nick has made here. What we do is pick it up. We'll pick it up. How about that? Well, I want y'all to see. Just get an idea of how good this dude is. Just get an idea. You see his mark. You see his mark. You can buy some of these if you like. Look at these. Look at the handles. What kind of wood is that?
That's purple heartwood.
Purple heartwood. Look at these. Look at this set right here. I'm going to show y'all this. These was definitely forged, and I want y'all to see these. Because Nick just showed me these. He says, "Hey man, look at these right here." So he's making these for his sister. These are definitely freshly forged. Or was this a removal?
Nope, those were forged.
These are forged.
Those are all
I'm looking at the burn.
Damascus set of steak knives.
That's gonna be that's Damascus.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just in case y'all didn't know, Damascus steels, when you take a bunch of different steels, for lack of a better term, you heat them up and you smash them all together like Play-Doh.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
then you make them in these
together.
blocks, you weld them together like Play-Doh. And then when you make it start mashing your knives out, they have these beautiful prints on them.
Correct.
They have this beautiful pattern. It's called Damascus. I made one Damascus with you. I gave it to my brother-in-law as a gift. So now I have no more Damascus. But this is Nick. This is the type of shit. This guy amazes me. You know, he probably cut these out in a couple hours. You know, probably cut these out in a couple hours. So,
Show them that. You can see that. This is the pattern.
Oh, the Damascus? Oh, yeah. Again, now here's Nick crazy with it, y'all. I'm telling you. This is a sword he did. Damascus. Now, I want you, can you see that Damascus pattern on it? Can you catch the pattern? This is what I was talking about, Damascus. See the pattern in the metal?
Every single wavy line that's on there is
how many layers is that? How many layers? This is 200 plus layers. I mean, he had folded this metal over and smashed it, and smashed it,
Correct.
and smashed it, and smashed it, and folded it, and smashed it, folded and smashed it. This is where my boy over here comes in handy.
Exactly.
This is
it would be impossible for me
This
to
is
do
when the
that.
hydraulic press comes in handy. And then I'm personally proud of this one myself because he wasn't trying to finish it.
Oh yeah, that was 100% you pushing me through the finish
Yeah,
line.
because he didn't want to finish it, man. I just cut. Well, when I seen it, it was just this. I'm like, yo, man, when you gonna finish that up? Every time I came up, yo, man, when you gonna finish that up? The one day he was like, yeah, I'm working on that hilt. I'm working on the. That's it right there, yo. I'm telling you, it ain't a whole lot of people that can make one of these, man. I'm telling you. I don't know. I know one person personally. That's you. So that being said, we're gonna stop right there, and then we're gonna light up the forge for a few minutes, just so you can see what it looks like hot and burning. That's all. We ain't really. That's all. Just so we can see what it looks like hot and burning. I'm thanking Nick for this right here, for showing us his forge. Also inside his forge, you have welding machines because you have to weld your Damascus together. I remember Nick buying this daggone thingy here for $1 million. The Rikon. This is just a saw. No. The Rikon didn't cost $1 million. The blade cost $1 million. The blade was a fortune, man. The blade was a fortune. And I got, look, and I'm laughing because my little saw at the house won't cut nothing.
Yeah.
Won't cut nothing, man. I'm sorry, they're not the hardwoods, man. And this is now this here, y'all, is Nick's hardwoods for handle section. There's so much wood in here. Oh, that looks like the purple right there. Oh, that looks like the purple, Leon. I might have to try to beat him for some kind of way. I have to beat him for the purple to get you together. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. All this is clips and clamps. You see knives on the back wall. You see knives hanging here. See, all this stuff this dude has made is just absolutely absurd. So anyway, we're going to click out right now, and we're going to come back when we light the forge up. Time for another heat. Find that to a point. Curling up. Idea to get out this deep white to have it. You seen it? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it today.
We're gonna go over to the Eastern Shore of Virginia. We're gonna meet a good friend of mine, Mr. Boyd. Mr. Boyd runs the Outlaw, the Samuel Outlaw Blacksmith Museum on the Eastern Shore. And that brother there is going to bust us down and let us see just how Mr. Outlaw did it, who he was, and how he did it. But I want to start out by talking about Black Ned. Black Ned's Forge is a guy that's got a book out called The Road to Black Ned's Forge. You can look it up if you want to. The gentleman's name was Edward Tarr. The story goes that Edward Tarr was a freedman from Pennsylvania who set up along something, he got his freedom. He came to Virginia, what they call the Piedmont area. He set up a business, a forge, a blacksmith shop on what they called the Great Wagon Road. I hope I can show you a map of how that road ran through there. But he was set up right at the crossroads on what they call the Great Wagon Road. And the Great Wagon Road was a trail from Pennsylvania all the way down to, I believe it was Georgia, that the natives had carved out. And eventually they walked it, and everybody walked it enough to make it wide enough. And this was a main stop heading, it was a 95 or 85, it was the interstate heading south. And Edward Todd set up right there. And he set up right there, and he had a white wife. This is a weird situation, but he had a white wife when he moved there. And this was unheard of at the time. But Ned started his business right there. And as the story goes, later on, Ned's old slave master's son came back to try to get Ned and re-enslave Ned. But the people, the Caucasians, whites, Europeans, whatever you call it, was the people around Ned who fought against that, made sure that Ned was not messed up and that was never touched out there. Significant to Ned was Ned also had a European second woman that moved into the home. Doesn't tell whether the wife died or not. But just the fact that Ned had the forge, when Ned had the forge, we're talking about 1762, 1700s, Ned is set up, he's got his own forge, he's on the main road. Who are his customers? I always say this again, and I'll probably say this a few more times, but who are his customers if it's not the local white people? I hate to use the word time white, y'all, but y'all ain't leaving me with a whole lot of different words that I could use, for that. But Ned also started, and I keep telling y'all, he also started Timber Ridge Presbyterian Church. Timber Ridge Presbyterian Church. Because remember, where blacks were assembled, the blacks were allowed religion. They were allowed to be Christians. So therefore, every time they built or did anything, the first thing they did was try to get a church going in that neighborhood or in that town or wherever they was at, so they could assemble, meet, pray, worship, and like that. So we see there that he did that. Next, we want to move to a place called Madden's Tavern. Madden's Tavern. It's in Culpeper, Virginia. This is in Culpeper, Virginia. And Madden's Tavern was ran by a blacksmith who, it says that he worked in a number of trades, including blacksmith, and he earned enough money to build a tavern in Culpeper, Virginia, just prior to the Civil War. And he was able to maintain this tavern, him and his family, up until I think they said almost 2000. They owned that piece of property up until that time. He was able to, the war came through, the Civil War came through. He was putting up people, he was doing his thing. And even through the war and the battles and the killings that was right there around him, he was able to keep his business for his family. He was able to keep things going. This is Madden's Tavern in Culpeper, Virginia. Quite a person, quite a story. He built this church also. He built Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is still there today. It's still being worshiped in today. He built it with the stipulation that as long as it was a church, it belonged to the church. But if it ever went from being a church, he would revert it back to his family. All right, how y'all doing? I'm here with Brother Boyd. We're at the Samuel Outlaw Museum here in Onancock, Virginia, and we're going to talk about the works of Brother Boyd. We're going to talk about that too. Yes, sir. We're going to definitely talk about what Brother Boyd has done to keep this going. Yeah. But we want to talk about Brother Outlaw right now. So let's just start at the top. In my research, I came out and met you 2 years ago now. Right. I look back, it's been 2 whole years when I really started into this down this road. It has grown since then. What I was working on has grown since then. Okay. Now I've been able to uncover, so to speak, what was behind what I believe the foundation and we talked about this, the ability to do stuff with your hands.
Okay.
What I believe was the foundation and is the foundation of how the black man has been so successful in America, period. And this brother here epitomizes that level of success. Talk to us a little bit about who this man was before we even talk about the shop.
Okay. I'm very happy to see you again. Thanks for inviting me into this.
All right.
And when I think about Mr. Outlaw, he came out of Bertie County, North Carolina.
Okay. I'm familiar.
Yeah. And just a few years, he was born in the 1800s, just a few, I think about 30 years outside of enslavement.
Okay.
So that means that his parents, and certainly his parents' parents,
Right.
were born into enslavement.
Got you.
And probably lived their lives enslaved until the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865.
Got you.
So around 1920, in the 1920s, he ended up going to Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute in Hampton, Virginia.
Right.
The same school that Booker T. Washington had gone to.
Right around the corner from where we live.
Okay.
We actually live right there. We actually live right there. Yeah.
And so he studied wheelwrighting for 2 years, and he studied blacksmithing.
Okay.
And Mr. Outlaw was also a farrier.
Right, doing the horses.
Yes.
We talked about that.
So he graduated in 1925 and came to Cape Charles, Virginia, as an apprentice of a blacksmith. That blacksmith shop burned to the ground.
Okay.
And he moved a few miles north here to Onancock.
Okay, cool.
Acquired this property
Okay.
and built this industrial plant.
Had the money to buy this. Let's back up.
I imagine he did.
Had the money to buy this. Let's back up to that. Boom.
Right.
You said
Yeah.
acquired.
Yes.
They didn't give it to him.
Right.
Let's keep rolling.
Right. And he met and married a widow here in Onancock, Miss Ida Sample.
Okay.
His home was right in this land, this property.
Where I was talking about, because you had just,
Right.
The
So
property.
that's-
So he owned everything from there
from here,
back.
yes.
Got you.
And
Nice little swath of land.
so he operated this from 1927 to 1994 when
Okay.
he died
That's just
at,
almost a
age
couple years.
at age 95.
So almost 100 years ago, he opened this up.
Yes.
Okay.
He
Almost 100 years
served
ago.
he served farmers,
Yep.
watermen, and neighbors.
Okay.
And so he repaired strawberry buggies. He repaired buggies and plows. He shod horses.
Well, this was the thing about Mr. Outlaw of the different smiths and things that I've gotten into over the years. What makes him extraordinary to me is the plant that he is able to do here.
Right.
To me, this is, and I've been to some forges. I've been to plenty of them, as a matter of fact. This is the only place, and you're going to show us, of course, when we go around, where he actually was the farrier. He did the horses right in here. He did the wheels right in here.
Right.
He did all of the other stuff. He worked on the waterman rakes and things like that right in here.
Right in here.
So he was multi-purpose. What happened was, remember I told you when I first started, I was just studying because I was into the blacksmithing, what the blacksmiths was doing. But I kind of find out that most of these blacksmiths weren't just blacksmiths.
Okay.
They were multi-purpose like he was. You know, they were weapons, really, to me, of mass destruction, because they were needed. I'll put it to you like that.
Yeah.
They were needed.
Yeah.
And when you're needed, when you have a commodity or a skill that's needed,
Right.
you're gonna make some money.
Yeah.
You know, what I love is the way they reinvested their monies into these communities when they was doing. Let's take a quick second and look at some of the stuff that's in the forge, man. See if
Okay.
you can explain a couple of things, because I want to go back and talk to him starting that Savings and Loan Association too.
Yes,
so
yeah.
we're going to get to that too.
Right.
But this is the
And
actual.
so this
forge.
is the forge. It has been reconstructed. That was a grant acquired in the 80s.
Okay.
And they rebuilt the forge.
They had
and redid the floors and that sort of thing. But it's in full operation.
So this is fully operational right now.
Fully operational.
Okay.
We have a master blacksmith from across the bay, Dale Morse, who comes over occasionally and gives me a
Is he
hand.
out of Gloucester?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And of course, the forge was essential to a blacksmith. The first thing they taught him over in Hampton, at Normal and Agricultural Institute, is how to build a fire. So we got to build and maintain the fire at the appropriate temperature.
You're right.
In order to handle the metal.
1800 to 3000.
Yes.
1800 to 3000.
And had to have the right coal, soft coal.
All right.
And then he would take the instrument he's working on.
I got to pick up his head.
Over to the forge here.
Yep.
And you can see that the forge is rather low to the ground, so it might not have been the best configuration for me, a tall man, but apparently it worked for him. So he would work the forge here. Sometimes he had to make the tool that he needed in order to make the instrument.
That was the big thing about Smiths. They made most of the tools.
Yes,
they made most of the, I need this. They went ahead and made that.
So we can see here a piece here.
This is him at work?
Him at work.
And these are later years.
Right, right. Where he's using, if you would notice, the same tool in that box is what you see here in the picture.
I see it, that torch right there.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when you took over, when you came into being the curator of this museum, you said that the family had donated originally.
Yes. Upon his passing, the family donated the blacksmith shop, its contents, and the property to the town of Onancock.
Okay.
And again, the town and maybe some people from Maryland, some blacksmiths would come here and operate.
Oh, they was trying to keep it going
for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. And but I think what probably happened is the funds ran out.
Sure.
And
right.
Then they shuttered.
Nobody was in here full time, probably.
They shuttered the building, and it started to fall apart.
Okay.
Carpenter bees were into it.
Okay.
The climate wasn't right for it, so
Okay.
things started to deteriorate.
Got you. So,
I had come back in 2014 from living in Atlanta and other places, read about Mr. Outlaw and the blacksmith shop in a history book, local historian Francis Bibbins Latimer's Landmarks is the title of the book. So I read about the blacksmith shop. It piqued my interest, and I came and found it.
Okay.
Was then a conversation with the local bookstore owner. The mayor's wife came over and joined in the conversation, introduced me to the mayor. I talked about how I thought it was necessary to preserve the shop and the art of blacksmithing.
Okay.
And so that's how it got started.
So that's how you got in there.
He gave me permission to go ahead and start working. He said that the town had no money and no staff.
So you can go, we just can't help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're on your own.
This is a cart.
I'm
going to tell you now, he made that cart.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's no question that cart is handmade.
Right.
For his, just for his tools.
Yes.
Just for his tools.
So there are 3 volumes of things that was here in the shop.
Okay.
And this is what's left. So a lot of the tools walked away.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
With whoever. Was here. I got that box of tools with the torch in.
Okay.
A few months back, someone had just walked out with it, and then he said to me when they saw me in here one day cleaning up, I got something that belongs to the blacksmith shop. I'll bring it back.
Well, that was mighty kind.
I'm very pleased that he brought it back.
Last time I was here, and since we're standing here, last time I was here, this was the last thing I asked you about was, because we kept talking, I said, well, what the heck are these things
these cones.
For the wheelwright, correct?
Yeah.
For the wheelwright.
Yeah. So he did a lot of work repairing and even making wheels. I
didn't realize, man, again, doing my research over a few years here, how important a wheelwright was.
Yes.
A wheelwright and a blacksmith. And if you was a blacksmith, if you was a blacksmith who could be the wheelwright, and the farrier, you was total package. You was the total package dude.
Right. Over at Hampton, the curriculum included standalone programs, 2 years to learn rewriting, 2 years to learn blacksmithing.
Okay.
But you were encouraged to learn both of these. So
Right.
he spent 4 years.
Well, I never thought about it. But you got a horse and buggy, you plow the field, and you snap that wooden tire. That they ain't got no tire. You snap that wooden wheel.
Yeah.
You got to get somebody to get that boy fixed quick.
Right. You break that plow.
You break that plow, you down.
Yeah.
Till somebody gets you a new wheel on that joint. You down.
So here's the deal. Mr. Outlaw contributed a large amount to transportation.
Sure.
Because nothing could move without those
without
wheels.
him. Right. Nothing could move
without
him.
that buggy, without that wagon.
Without that wagon.
Right.
Wow.
So he contributed to the economic growth of the community.
Right.
As well as its cultural growth.
Right.
As well as its political growth.
Right.
So every area of life.
Not only because what's really cool about what he's doing here is not only is he enhancing and doing what he can to help the African American so-called black community. Mm-hmm. Not only is he really deep into making sure that happens, but he's also at the same time enriching this whole area. The whole entire community is definitely growing and prospering because of the business he's bringing in. Yes. He's bringing in stuff. How far away would you say he would bring in people from?
Certainly here in Accomack County, and I imagine as far away as Northampton County. There are only 2 counties here on the shore.
So Northampton County, right? And I probably maybe a couple people out from the Maryland side.
Right.
It's not that
Could
far.
be.
Depending on, if he was, depending on how good he was. Was he the best? If he was the best, it was coming to him.
People think, the research I've done and talking to people who knew him, they all had high praises. He was a very quiet man. A very steady man who could be found most time sitting at the forge, sitting at the bellows, shirt.
And my wife cracks up on this big giant bellows. She loves that big bellows, right?
Shirt and tie. Shirt and tie, whistling Dixie.
Say the whole thing again.
Yeah, you can find him at the forge.
At the forge.
Or at the bellows.
He,
as you can see, he moved from the manual bellows.
From the big bellows, to the crank.
To the crank.
Right.
Which, of course, was central to keeping the flame.
Got to keep it stoked.
Right.
So he's there. So what's that again?
He's there in shirt and tie.
Shirt and tie.
Whistling Dixie.
Whistling Dixie.
The kids would come
Life ain't bugging him at all.
The kids would come from school, rush here to the shop to see him working, to see that.
Just to watch
that flame.
Just to watch it, right? Just to watch.
So there are wonderful stories about.
Cool enough. Can we move around a little bit over
this way?
Yeah, a little
bit. Feel free. Of course, this is still operational.
Okay.
And I imagine he might have kept his. This has not only kept him warm, but he might have heated up his food. Though he lived right there.
Right there.
There's a story of he and his niece racing each other home to get Ms. Ida's biscuits.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that. But you still had to keep it warm in here in that wintertime, man. In that wintertime. So let's come on around. Let's see what we got. I was looking at the grinding wheel, man.
Yes.
I was looking at that grinding wheel.
Later on, as the community became more industrialized, right? There was more tractors and that sort of thing. There was no need for him to repair plows, and so he ended up sharpening knives. Right. He ended up repairing lawnmowers, repairing bicycles. So this was around the 60s or so.
We're starting. Okay, modern stuff is coming in.
Yeah. Blacksmithing was on the wane.
It's on the wane. Okay, I got you.
But he did repair instruments for watermen.
Right, because this is an oyster rake, ain't
Oyster rake.
As I was looking at it, it's like an oyster rake.
Yes, and dredges.
Dredges and stuff. Now the watermen, I'm imagining them boys, because their stuff is in that salt water.
Right.
I imagine their stuff is cracking up all the time on them.
Right.
And then right down the street here at Nancock, you have watermen running right out of Nancock right here.
Probably.
Right? I'm sure you had somebody catching some fish right out of Nancock.
Yeah.
And there's another little fishing town right up the next little hook up, ain't there?
Right.
Right. All right, so over here, this is just a regular, what's this? Saw?
Yeah, this is a bandsaw.
Bandsaw?
Yeah. So, again, he made lots of handles for broken waterman instruments. He had to cut and measure things. I think these are metal cutters and benders here.
I have a question. Was he considered a wealthy man?
A wealthy? I don't think so.
No.
He was probably wealthy according to the standards of the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because he's got a major operation here.
Right, right. He's wealthy because
this
of all
is a
of
whole,
this
this is a
machinery.
whole plant. This ain't just a forge
No.
or just a wheelwright
Yeah,
or just a place, a barn to do. This is a
Right.
plant.
Industrial plant.
This is an industrial plant
Yeah,
that he is putting, which comes to the business side
Right.
of what he learned at Hampton.
Right.
Was not only how to do the stuff,
Yeah.
but also I'm sure they taught how to run the business.
Exactly.
How to,
Exactly.
Okay.
I would imagine.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
So,
So these are samples of the wheels that he might have worked on.
these are the wheels. That's a big man.
Big wheels.
Man.
Big and small wheels.
Yeah, man. And that's by the time they went to the metal wheel away
Right.
from the wooden wheel.
Right. And
Yeah.
of course we have pile
Horseshoes,
of
crazy.
horseshoes and
I wonder
that
what
sort of
these
thing.
horseshoes was. I wonder if he shows that they took off, that he took off of horses.
Yes.
Those are the ones that were
that
removed.
Removed.
Those are shot.
Also, this was a what is called carriage racing, buggy racing,
Oh, the trotters.
trotters. So
Yeah.
this was huge.
Oh, so he worked on the
that.
trotters too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow, he worked on the trotters. Man, I think the trotters I like watching trotters.
Yeah,
They that's a whole nother. My mother's a horse person.
Okay.
So she got me
Cool.
into it. So these here I used to hate when I was a kid.
Growing up, having to push that thing.
Yeah, with no motor on these boys. Hated. Do you remember these boys well?
Yes, I
if,
do.
If you see, Leon, if these weren't sharp, you was in trouble that
You were
day.
in trouble.
You was
Yeah.
in trouble because you
Yeah.
had to back up 100 times with that right there.
Well,
But
this is still the best instrument you can use to cut like zoysia grass.
Really?
Yeah, and maybe even St. Augustine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I used to own a landscape management company.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse
I
me.
know a little bit about it.
You know that sound.
Yeah, and while we're here, this is the church which still exists down the street here.
Okay,
that he
I got to run
served.
down there.
He served as Sunday school
And
superintendent.
is that still an active church now?
Yes, it's active.
Still okay.
He served as superintendent of Sunday school for 58 years
58
and as
years.
cleric clerk for 48 years.
Right, and I'm sure main church financier
Yeah,
for
but
all of those years.
Church clerk.
Church clerk. Yeah, clerk him up.
Yeah, he
But see,
understood.
what I'm loving about it is that these guys here, these wheelwrights and stuff, these black guys, that's what they were doing with their money.
Right.
They were putting it into the churches. They
Right.
were putting it into whatever institution that we could do to
Right.
do something. And I can tell people now, people think you got to do a whole bunch.
Right.
You can live your life and nobody know who you was.
Yeah.
That don't mean you didn't change a few lives.
Right. Right.
And that's exactly what I see these guys
Right.
did. They set up a foundation of pride, something we could see. Like you said, the kids came in and watched them work. The
Right.
pride. They said, man,
Right.
what is he doing? Hey,
Right.
I want to do that. That's pretty cool.
Right.
You know, we're losing that now. We
Yes.
don't see that pride because we don't see anybody doing anything because everybody's trying to get rich on some kind of thing on TV and whatnot. But grass still got to be cut. Electrical cable still got to be pulled by hand.
Right.
You know, a concrete don't pour itself.
Right.
You know, so you need to learn these things
Right.
if you want to stay really in the money. I don't care how rich they get up here.
Right.
The foundation of what makes black people strong was these right here.
Right.
It was these right here, and it still is.
Right.
These right here. The barbers,
Right.
you know, the hair salons, all of that. When invested correctly, is pride. It gives you something to be proud of. Your kids something to be proud of. I'm so proud of this, but I'm proud of you too, bro. Because the work you do. Come on, man, because I'll be to talk about you forever.
Yeah. And so again,
Plow.
these are some examples of the farm implements.
That basic plow right there.
It's basic and yeah.
Just run behind that thing, huh?
Yeah, you had of course, a horse or a mule in front,
Uh-huh.
and
And this is the thing that's digging him up.
right,
The,
right,
the,
right.
The blade.
And this looked like a planter,
Let me see. Oh yeah. Let me see
with
the sit up.
probably with the horse in front of it,
So you put the seeds in there.
seeds in there,
Horse is running. Wheel is running.
right. And you were behind
Man, huh?
And you were walking
And
behind.
you're walking behind. Hot, sweaty,
yeah.
lips tight, mad at
Hungry.
everybody.
Maybe praying.
You ready? All that going on.
Right.
I mean,
I've curated these back to the 1930s.
okay.
So again, he repaired lots
The
of
toys, yeah, because toys was
lots of
all metal.
toys, yes.
I had
The sleigh.
the metal pedal car.
Yeah.
63 and 64, I had a
Yeah,
metal
yeah.
pedal car.
Right, right.
You know, it was all
Right.
steel. You know, the Tonka trucks was all steel. Everything you could, if you got in an argument and bust your friend in the head with one of our toys, you about kill him. You just
Yeah,
split his
that
head
was-
open,
right,
man. What
right.
stuff we was playing with.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so where we at? We coming on?
So
live?
yeah, just we can just.
Come on, right.
Keep
Now, was
on.
this also for to let the horses in and out right here? Because I
think
know
that the doors down there were mainly
that was the
used-
mainly for that right
But
there.
you can see it's pretty warm in here. And normally I would have opened these,
Both of these
opened
doors.
up wide.
Now, are we looking at? You say you got some grants monies coming in.
Well,
we're going to try to do something
we have
there, or do we have a plan for
applied for grants to restore, repair, and preserve the buildings. And
Okay.
I've located a local lumber yard who can produce the wood at the same wood during the era,
Oh, really?
1920s, 30s, and so
Oh.
on. So yeah, we have the opportunity,
Okay. Let's look at
provided
this.
that we get the resources. We
This
need.
is, and over here we have.
Yeah. Again,
I see some
wheel.
regular tongs here.
Yeah,
These
that's
are Farrier
used
tongs.
for
Grasp.
yeah, to use for cleaning up the
right.
horses.
Now we know
hooves.
nowadays we make knives out of these.
Yes,
We put them in the forge, heat them up,
Right.
and we bang these into knives
Right.
nowadays.
Right,
That's,
right.
That's,
And
it. That's what the
what many blacksmiths are doing, making knives.
Making knives. Now knife making is really big
yeah,
now.
yeah, building fences.
Yeah.
For
That's
mansions
really big.
and
Now
that sort
what
of
we
thing.
got here?
I think that's the it's the part of the wheel axle. Maybe part of the axle.
for the
or
wheel.
It fits in the wheel.
The center hub.
Yeah, the hub.
The hub. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
no.
see it. I can see it. As soon as you start talking
Don't
about
have
it,
me
okay.
naming stuff that I don't know anything
The hub.
about. I'm not a blacksmith.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
That would look cool in my collection.
Yeah, that was a kind of a little gift somebody brought along.
So that was mighty cool of them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this floor right here because this is where I was trying to come back around to this floor.
As they open outward, and just across the street is where the corral was. This is where the horses were kept. I
So they
understand.
corralled them right there.
Right across there. I understand there was an apple orchard over there. So,
Okay.
so it was a popular spot for some kids.
So here's Ready Bone. They run them up.
So they bring the horses through here, and you can see how the floor is doubled.
I'm on this floor thing because it definitely says, hey, 'cause if you come in a place and you look at the floor and all the floor is going one way, and then you look and you say, wait a minute, well, this looks like a little more reinforced floor.
Right.
Then I step up on it and I go, huh? And then you say to me, yeah, that's where they brought the horses in
To be shod.
to be shod
And I understand that he was very gentle
with the
with
horses.
the horses.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, this is some horse stuff right here I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
just
right?
some harness
harnesses and stuff.
and that kind of thing that
the level of stuff this guy was doing.
yeah, that we found a little later and added.
Oh, okay.
Curated.
to the ambiance.
Yes,
You're the
yes.
curator, aren't you?
Right.
That's what you do?
Right.
I wonder what these was doing.
Well, this held rods that he used to.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah. That then became the.
The stuff he did for
held the metal
supplies,
together.
keep it out the way like that. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
So
Brother
what
Boy,
we've done is to replace the lights with these recently. One of the first things that
the
we did.
fluorescents, right.
But we've kept the old system in place.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because you said that, when you heard about it, you ended up talking to the mayor's wife, and it hit a nerve somewhere with
Right,
you.
right.
You said, hey, I can't let it ride.
Yeah.
My wife laughs at me all the time because I end up attached to something and I go,
Yeah.
I can't let it ride. So how many years has it been now that you've been curating?
I took this on in 2014.
So you 11 years now.
Yeah.
11 years
We're now on the National Historic Register,
Nice.
the Virginia Register of Landmark Places,
Okay.
the National Park Service Park Friends,
Okay.
and we're on the National Civil Rights Network.
All right, cool.
And so it has reached
people
national
know,
significance.
People know that
Right.
you're here.
That
now.
and that he operated during the Jim Crow era,
Correct.
which began in 1865
Yes.
and lasted until the
Yes.
1960s.
See, this is the thing. My producer knows, you heard me say this many times. The reason I do what I do historically is because these stories It's one thing to tell me, oh, there's an African-American blacksmith. Cool. But you haven't told me what is important about that. You haven't told me the power that a blacksmith. I would come to find out that most of the people that led rebellions, were skilled labor guys.
Right.
They were the guys who could travel,
right,
to different plantations, round up people, because they had the finance, because they was making the money. Before we close out, I just want to ask you one question. Is there anything that I missed?
Well, I think when we talk about history, we have to talk about humanizing history.
Okay.
The purpose of history is to humanize the individual peoples and groups of people.
And the struggles and the good. Okay.
Yes.
I got
It
you.
is, history is the process of human beings becoming more human. And that is what we have got to record. That's the importance. Right?
Is that what's driving me? Because I've been doing history my whole life.
Right,
So maybe
right.
you have a point there. It's just when you talk about history, it's important to me how the story is told. More
Yes.
so because I've learned that, we were all given a certain story that we had to go through our grade school, middle school. This is the story. Here's your narrative. Here it is.
Right.
This is what we're teaching everybody this. So now we come to find, and as we dig in deeper and we're pulling layers out, we go, wait a minute, wait. This ain't even close to what happened.
Right.
And I'm telling people now, my big thing is stop worrying about who we are and what we're doing. We're builders. We've always built. Throughout the periods where they tell you we was at our worst, if you peel back one layer, you see guys starting businesses. You see guys starting churches. You see guys doing these things. But we never peel even the simplest layer back to see what's happening. So I want to thank you.
Well, currently we are doing that. I want to tell you that August 23rd, we will be celebrating what we are calling our shoebox.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Festival.
See, I knew it was something I missed. You told me about shoebox outside. I'm sorry. Talk about
So
shoebox.
you may remember that during the Jim Crow era, we black folk were not accorded the courtesy of accessing comfort spaces such as restaurants and hotels and so on.
Right.
So what we would do in order to avoid the humiliation of being refused service was to pack our lunches as we traveled in a shoebox.
Okay.
And these were items that did not spoil easily and items that could be eaten cold.
Okay.
So a menu would look like fried chicken, mac and cheese or potato salad, greens or green beans,
I'm eating that.
boiled or deviled eggs, a slice of pound cake, fruit.
Yeah.
And when we found safe space,
Did that sound good to everybody else?
then we could pull to the side and
do
safely eat our lunches.
I can remember, it's funny you say that. I can remember that when I was a kid, my dad was in the Navy in the 60s. And we'd have to go to Columbus, Ohio, where we were from. And we wouldn't stop.
Right.
You know, we would pack up the little ugly station wagon. And we'd have food in there. We've had, like you said, fried chickens in there, macaroni and cheeses, I think the only thing you stopped for was gas.
Right.
You know.
And then you were very careful.
And then you was very careful. You know, you got a car full of kids. So I remember those. I actually remember driving like the Green Book. I have a copy of the Green Book at home. And we're going to get into that, but I understand what you're saying. So with your shoebox.
So we've curated the shoebox lunch.
Okay.
Married it to blacksmithing.
Okay.
Right, and blacksmith demonstrations.
Okay.
Open it to the public to come and have a lunch, and to see and participate in hands-on.
Oh, so if I come, I get to eat too. I get the lunch.
You get the lunch.
Oh, I'm back in here.
$20.
Oh, that is the back door.
Yeah.
$20.
And you get to work to make some kind of instrument.
And who will be the smith in
Dale
there?
Morse.
He'll be the smith in for the day. So he'll be
master
making little small stuff like bottle openers and stuff like that.
Something that the person could take back home with them.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So we in an effort to bring people together, diverse communities, peoples to form community, to learn about history, where we came from and where we are today.
Yeah.
To learn something about that craft.
What's the date on that?
That's the August 23rd, from
Okay.
10 to 3, right here on the grounds.
Well, we won't have the documentary done by that time, but I'll be here.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, welcome.
I'm going to tell my wife about it, and if I tell her, she ain't going to let me
not go.
Let me come. So is everything, cool. we got everything?
I think we've done it.
Did we cover it all?
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm going to say thank you, brother. And
Thank
I appreciate.
you,
I'm also going to thank you for curating this museum.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Wherever I travel to, especially my wife and I, we do that show called I Told You Old Folks Traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever we travel and we find museums like this, our greatest joy is meeting the curators.
Yeah.
Because everywhere we go, I don't care if I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, or wherever, there's some very loving people who have decided that building or that museum or that house or that whatever is worth keeping.
Right.
And they keep the story with it, man. So I thank you for being one of those keepers of the story.
Thank you for seeing us and having us.
All right. So we're talking about Madness Tavern, and the cool thing about Madness Tavern is they have the documented there. The church is still there. They honored it with a site. I want to take a quick second, as I'm even telling this story to these blacksmiths, to thank all of the towns and things that I visit and study that have memorials and things built. There's a whole lot that we don't know, but when you local people do your thing and look at your history and you put it to take the time to put in the memorials and the memorials, I really appreciate it, So that's Madness Tavern in Culpeper, Virginia. Moving right along, Goochland, Virginia. The Jacksmith family, the Jackson's family, it has the Jacksmith Blacksmith Shop. The Jackson Blacksmith Shop is in Goochland, Virginia. It's a historic blacksmith shop, still owned by the Jackson family. It's in Goochland, Virginia. It started there by a gentleman named Henry Jackson. Still there to this day. He was successful. It says he was born into slavery in 1830, and he started his family blacksmith tradition then. So you can still go out to see that location. The Jackson's Blacksmith Shop is in Goochland, Virginia. It's a great place to go look at and really get the understanding of how these blacksmiths get in there. Because remember, we're talking 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s. The treatment and what these gentlemen were going through, they were still pushing on. Their customers were still looking out for them, taking care of them because they was doing good work. They was doing great work. Like I say, we want to go out to the Eastern Shore and look at that shop. Tremendous shop out there. Andrew Redmond, I love this gentleman. He stayed because he was old enough that before he died, they interviewed him. They actually interviewed him. And he said that after the Emancipation Proclamation was when he decided, he was already a blacksmith. He was a blacksmith. His shop is right on the Manassas battleground. And again, up to the people of Manassas, people of the National Park Service who rebuilt that business, and it sits there to this day. And he was able to see the carnage. I looked at the carnage, and I looked and I studied that area, those Manassas battlefields. In the Manassas battlefield, we're talking about 20,000 dead. 20,000 dead in that battlefield alone. And so we know then that this gentleman here, and it said that his forge that he was raised on and learned on was only 2 miles right there on the battlefield where he was able to see. And yet and still, he survived. What do I call it? The gifts of a Nazi. How does a people continue to survive through the Middle Passage, through colonialism, slavery, to being moved from being the chief spiritual people to being nobody, to not even having a name, to continuing on and building and building and building? What gives them that juice? And I like to call it the gifts of a Nazi. Andrew J. Redmond. I'm a fantastic man, fantastic story. He had the gifts, I call it the gifts of a Nazi. People try to understand, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. Many people have tried to understand what keeps people going, what keeps us going, what keeps the black race going. What keeps the black race going is the black race and those of the white race who understand that we must have always and we will always work together. Andrew J. Redwood, Manassas, Virginia. Now, I had to do it's part of this story. I had to, of course, look locally. And locally, I find right here, I live in Newport News, Virginia, on Virginia's peninsula, and I went and I double checked. And sure enough, I found blacksmith shops, 2 blacksmith shops owned by blacksmiths right over at Newport News Shipyard in the heart of downtown, right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and look this and take my time to look this one up so I can give you these actual names. Newport News, Virginia. You don't have to go far if you live in the South to find it. You don't have to go far at all, but you do have to go to the right page that you're looking for. Alfred Neely and Walter Plummer. Alfred Neely had a shop on Washington Avenue, and Walter Plummer had a shop on River Road near 17th Street. I hope that bringing this story to light about the gifts of Obasi, I hope that I've been able to tell the story in the form that it's supposed to be told. Because again, it's not a fairy tale. But is it a story of strength? You daggone right. Is it a story of perseverance? Whoa, you daggone right. Is it a story of cooperation? Woo, for sure. Is it a story of survival? Yes, for sure. But it's also a story of triumph. I believe that spirit of Obasi that's in all of us, that spirit is what gets us going, what keeps us going. I'm not worried about this world. I'm not worried about what's going on. There's always been atrocities in our world. There's always been some gangster killer out here killing everybody. Always been there. But that has never stopped. That has never stopped intelligent people from cooperating, working together, and growing. I hope y'all enjoyed this documentary. We'll see you next time.